Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, starting with Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 3, which as we know is postponed but official now through media releases, and the rescheduled date has been confirmed, October the 9th. So most of this was already floating around to some degree, but official now. And the press release which actually accompanies this, so Top Rank and PBC issued their own statements, but identical. Fury quoted as saying, "I wanted nothing more to smash the big dosser on July 24, but I guess the beating will have to wait. Make no mistake, I will be back and better than ever. We will fight October 9, and I will knock him spark out." Deontay Wilder's co-manager Shelley Finkel is quoted as saying, "This is what we went to arbitration for. He just wanted what was owed to him. He remains ready to reclaim his world title on October 9. So Finkel quoted there instead of Wilder, maybe not surprising given some of Wilder's antics at the press conference, not wanting to engage, just focus on the task ahead, etc. So he's got a couple more months to prepare. So I guess questions from that, does that favour Deontay Wilder a little bit more time to make technical adjustments, or will he have been training for too long and maybe overtrained? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. Some questions that have been asked about Tyson Fury regarding the COVID situation, because this fight was postponed because he got COVID-19. Mike Coppinger, so he is tweeting, and this is interesting because it wasn't mentioned in the press release from Top Rank or PBC, but somehow Mike Coppinger from sources talking about the actual testing situation, which wouldn't have been better to come from Fury's promoter direct. Interesting, but he says Tyson Fury was PCR tested for COVID on July 5 and received the positive result the following day. He had the first vaccine shot, but not the second, and experienced mild symptoms. He tested negative for this past Tuesday and was cleared by doctors for travel shortly after. Make of the whole situation what you will. But in terms of the fight, we know it's happening October the 9th, so I guess that's what we start to look forward to. In terms of Tyson Fury elsewhere, so he is thanking ESPN for his win at the ESPY Awards, so I will now play that now. He won the Best Boxer.
Hey there, this is Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King. I'd just like to thank everybody who voted for me for this year's ESPY Award, ESPN Award. Thank you to everybody at ESPN. Thank you to everybody in sports who voted for me to be the best boxer of the year. Real honour. Thank you very much. All the best. God bless.
And just, I guess, as an interesting aside, so Fury hadn't fought since February 2020, but still able to win the Best Boxer of the Year for 2021. Funny how things work. More details about Michael Hunter's next fight have emerged. So we knew the opponent was going to be Mike Wilson. Originally, he was going to be on the Teofimo Lopez-George Kambosos undercard. That date pushed back because Teofimo Lopez got COVID, uncertainty about where it's going to be. But Hunter moved off that card and onto his own. So he will headline the boxing portion of a Triller versus card, which is going to be part boxing and part sort of rap battle or something to that effect. So August the 3rd at the Hulu Theatre, so at Madison Square Garden. So that sort of series that Triller is starting up, this Triller Versus, there's going to be one show the first Tuesday of every month at Madison Square Garden at the Hulu Theatre. So yeah, we know he's fighting Mike Wilson, not a great fight, but I think he's got this 2-fight deal, or at least it's a 2-fight deal from what he's been saying. So we'll see what happens there with Michael Hunter after this fight, because he should beat Mike Wilson. And I guess it'll be interesting, this format. Is this going to work? How is it going to work? How's it going to look and feel? We will soon see. August the 3rd, Michael Hunter back in the ring. The Australian heavyweight champion Justis Huni has posted post-surgery, remembering he had injured his hands or re-injured them against Paul Gallen, needed surgery, was out of the Olympics, and will resume his pro career. So he says operation went well yesterday, now taking the time to recover and get back in the square circle. So there was reporting sort of a few weeks ago that suggested both his hands had been re-injured and needed surgery. So I'm not sure if he just had the one or this is just a shot or just of the one that was operated on. But anyway, hopefully Justis Huni does heal. And this isn't the start of some chronic sort of hand injuries, because concerning for a guy who's 5 or 6 fights into his pro career, he's having recurring hand issues so early in his pro career. So I guess we'll just have to sort of put a question mark against that and see how that goes. Couple of quick things. So you've had Joyce. So he's posted that his final spar is done, and he has been sparring Alen Babic. So he says, thanks to the Savage for strong rounds. Fight night just 10 days away. So this was yesterday. So I guess it's 9 now. And actually the Joyce fight, pretty much the biggest fight for the rest of the month. There's not a lot on in July in the heavyweight division. It's kind of like dry July. There's, with Fury and Wilder coming off this month, not a lot there. And even when that was there was pretty much that, the Joyce fight, and not much else. A lot of prospects in action, but there has been a few different fight postponements and such, so that has left us with very little to talk about. And actually in recent days I've just taken a couple of days off because it's like, well, there's just really not much to talk about, and sometimes you got to take these breaks when you can get them. A couple of other people who are back in the ring though, at training I should say, is like Andy Ruiz Jr. So back in the gym, Ruiz coming off a win against Chris Arreola where he was hurt and dropped. It'll be interesting to sort of see if he can maintain the discipline, stick around that 255 where he weighed in, or was there or thereabouts for that fight with Chris Arreola, because one of the questions after it was coming down so much weight that he was came down from 310 after that loss to Anthony Joshua back in 2019. With the fluctuation in weight, had that sort of hurt his punch durability. Ruiz had been actually, much vaunted as a guy who had a really good chin, but Arreola seemed to hurt him on multiple occasions. So if he does stabilize that weight, maybe that will sort of firm things up again. Martin Bakole also back in the ring. So he's training, says he's getting ready for the next one. What that next one is, it's not clear. He had been offered the Filip Hrgović fight, and there had been talk from Eddie Hearn, who'd be Filip Hrgovic's co-promoter, that Bakole requested a tune-up for considering taking the Hrgović fight. Maybe the option is that he will just face Hrgović. I don't know, or it's going to be something else. We'll have to see. But Hrgović apparently meant to be fighting on August the 28th, and likely on the Dillian Whyte undercard, a fight that's still to be announced for Whyte in the United States. But Bakole Hrgović, if it happens, I like it. If it's Bakole versus someone else, then they can't go on about that. He's a avoided boogeyman type fighter if he's turning down final eliminators, because it's kind of ridiculous. Charles Martin also back in the gym, so he'd been calling out Dillian Whyte. Unclear if he's going to be Whyte's opponent, probably not. It looks like it will be Jermaine Franklin, but this may signal that he does have a fight coming up anyway, so we'll have to see on that front. And just rounding up this heavyweight news mashup video, so Australian heavyweights, Faiga Opelu, he's been confirmed to face Christian Tsoye. Both these guys have fought Justis Huni in the past year and lost, but very tough, durable guys. So Opelu in his post says, here it is guys, announcing our opponent, Big Christian Tsoye. He's going to wish he didn't take this fight. Make sure to book your tickets so you don't miss out on an action-packed night of fights, yada, yada, yada. So actually, Christian Tsoye against Justis Huni, that was where Huni apparently hurt his hands for the first time, and they were sort of nursing them through the next sort of couple of fights, etc., but then he re-injured his hands against Paul Gallen. So based on what I've seen, I think this is actually a pretty competitive fight. These guys are relatively at the same level, and it should be action-packed, as Faiga Opelu says. Anyway, what do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.